everyone, happy Water Festival. My name's Adam, I'm an ecologist at the Litzinger Road Ecology Center. But right now, we're out here by the Great Mississippi River. And as you can see, there's quite a lot of water behind me, but we're not talking about this today. Oh, hi. We're out here at Tillis Park Lake now. Lakes are also a very important aquatic ecosystem, but we're not going to talk about this either today. Now we're here where I work at the Litzinger Road Ecology Center, and this is Deer Creek. Suburban creeks like this are an important part of the watershed and a habitat for a lot of different species, but we're not talking about this either. We're going to look at something a little bit smaller. All right, here we go. This is what I've been looking for. This small and often overlooked component of the watershed. And this is what we're going to be discussing today. So you might be out walking or hiking and come across a little body of water like this, especially in the springtime or after a good rain, and then you come back in the summer and it's completely dried up, or it might be just like a muddy pit with a little bit of water left in it. And these are what are known as vernal ponds, also called spring pools, ephemeral ponds, or seasonal wetlands. There's a few other names, but the word vernal relates to springtime, and as you might guess, these are shallow, temporary bodies of water that will fill up usually in the spring or during a particularly heavy rain, and then they'll completely dry out in the summertime. And they form in kind of these naturally occurring low areas that will gather in water. And because of these constant wet-dry cycles, fish are unable to get established in these habitats, but they do provide a home for all sorts of other creatures, like lots of insect species, frogs, salamanders, other amphibians, snakes, turtles, and even some birds depend on these for habitat. So, how do these vernal pools actually form? Well, we start with a natural low spot in the landscape that's sitting usually well above the water table. And then in the springtime, when we have snow melt and more rain and more surface water seeping underground, this groundwater level will naturally start to go up. So we have more moisture closer to the surface of the soil. But that's not usually enough to fill these pools up unless it's in a particularly low area. So instead, they tend to rely more on seasonal rainfall, which increases the surface water, which trickles downhill and creates these pools. You might also have, say, a larger body of water over here that might flood and also dump water into these as well. Now, in the summertime, as it starts warming up, we start to lose more of the surface water to evaporation than we do in the cool season. And then this groundwater level starts to go down as well, which in turn causes these pools to dry up, usually completely. Sometimes they might stay a little muddy. And some of these pools can stay wet for several months out of the year. Some of them will dry up within a few weeks after getting wet. And they might be able to refill temporarily if we have a good rain during the summer, but they won't hold on to that water as long as they would during the cool season. And all this, and how much water stays in there and how long it stays in there depends on a bunch of different factors. Like if it's in a forested area with a lot of tree cover to block the sunlight, it's going to stay shaded and it's going to not evaporate as quickly as if there was no trees here. Or if this low area was slightly deeper or in a lower spot, it would be closer to the groundwater and be able to stay wetter for longer. But all of these fluctuating wet-dry cycles are the main factor that determine this habitat and what types of plants and animals can live in it. And that drying up cycle is especially important for the survival of a lot of the most common amphibians you might find in your own backyard, like the American toad. To some of the most sensitive frogs in the St. Louis region, like the spring peepers, chorus frogs, and cricket frogs. And that drying up cycle is especially important for the survival because there are no fish predators able to survive in these pools that would eat their eggs. And their young can grow up and move on to new homes before the pools dry up again. And if you want to get involved in conserving our special frog species, you can check out the local chapter of the National Frog Watch program. You can take a free training course to learn basic frog identification and learn how to upload observations using the iNaturalist app. And if you use iNaturalist, you can record audio of frog and toad calls and upload them to a project called Frog Call STL, and contribute to building an auditory library of frog and toad calls and help researchers track different species in the St. Louis area.
My hands are officially frozen.
Okay. Let's do this quick. You good?
Yep.
Okay. Hey everybody, welcome to Water Festival.
And whenever you're ready.
So you might be... Fine.
A little bit of video, why don't you point to the thing, kind of do like what you're gonna...
This is a classical impressionism.
Don't fall in, Adam.
Need cleats.